Hello, my Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I want to talk about the Lunar New Year Rare Machine, which has just gone live in North America. So, this is a seasonal event, which means it will return on a regular basis, which means it can be a relatively safe place to invest, so to speak, because cards from this event will oftentimes receive buffs and or new evolutions to hopefully keep them more current. This is definitely a bit of a change compared to like collaboration events, which have inconsistent returning times. So, I've definitely started coming around a bit more on these seasonal events, thinking they're a little bit more value to roll in, especially when Gung Ho starts putting certain cards in the middle rarity or just releasing stuff that you cannot necessarily monster exchange for. So, one nice thing about this event is it only costs 5 magic stones to roll in, so with the new influx of monthly stones we got from the quest, maybe you spend some here, or maybe you keep saving up for Demon Slayer, which should be coming because we have received that collab in the past. Japan received that collab quite recently. Good chance we will get it soon. So let's take a look at the new cards or buffs that were released for this. So the first card is the 10-star Watasumi, and this card is surprisingly tradable. You can actually acquire him if you are able to cough up 15 New Year's cards. And you might think that's kind of outrageous, but if you have lots of those 5-star cards like Spikas who are doing probably nothing for you, it may be worthwhile because this card actually can form one of the stronger leaders or teams in the game with the future Demon Slayer background music card Muchiro, who is number 10815 if you want to look that up on your own. So on 30 turns, they will transform and provide haste, and once they are transformed, they have a spectacular 5-10 combos, a huge health stat, and they have a VDP, along with an active skill that provides 2 turns of damage and attribute absorption cancellation, which is something you need to have in this day and age. Furthermore, it increases their damage cap to 6 billion, so they obviously do much more damage, creates a rapid spinner, as well as removing orb locks. And that spinner can be used to fish out any orb you need as well, so it can potentially solve a bit of orb generation problems. And their leader skill provides a massive amount of bulk with the damage reduction on top of the 2.5 times stats for water and wood attribute cards. So they are a 25 times effective health leader, and when they pair with Muchiro, they're almost the same, but the idea is they need to match water and wood and hearts at the same time. In theory, Karen Dragons could be used to close that gap, but the Demon Slayer card is better because it creates 9 orbs instead of whatever Karen Dragon does, and then you can tap into the VDP. So in theory, you just flood your team with Karen Dragons, you will still get that VDP cancellation because Karen Dragons do pierce damage void, but Muchiro can solve that problem by making actual VDPs. And in theory, you might just be making VDPs anyways with those 9 guaranteed orbs, make the VDP plus 5-10 combos for both the cards, and bam, huge amounts of damage. He is acquirable. It may be in your best interest to actually acquire him. Weapon Assist provides 8 orb enhances and a 10 combo, which is obviously spicy. A new card that was released is Menuet, and after they transform in 30 turns, they will be happy in their 5-10 combos. 5-10 combos seems to be the norm now, and a double L. They have 3 attributes, so they can deal potentially large amounts of damage, and their active skill is a 3-turn cooldown, which gives you movement time and RCV, a 7x6 board, and increases their damage cap. So this type of active skill I feel like is more like a luxury, so to speak, because things like RCV debuff, movement time debuff, you can usually just kind of grind your way through it. But if it's something like damage absorption, you have 0 chance of overcoming it. So that's why I think these kind of active skills are a bit more like luxurious, so to speak. On the flip side, that 7x6 board aspect might be invaluable for certain teams that will actually fail on 5x4 boards. So it's possibly something to think about, but at this point, I'm not as excited for them potentially. They are having a nice weapon assist if you want to have some damage and passive damage with 2 skill boosts and a team HP. It also gives 3 turns of haste. And then their other weapon assist is 100% jammer resist and triple team HP. So I've kind of always said this, 2 team HP awakenings is kind of like the benchmark you need to reach. 3 is obviously better, and then other nice awakenings. It also avoids damage for 2 turns if you can charge it up, which is probably unlikely, but if it does overcharge, you're safe for 2 turns and have damage and attribute absorption cancellation for 5. New Year's Chuan, I am not a huge fan of them in their like leadership position, because as a leader they only have 4 seconds of orb movement time, and then for every combo you make the damage goes up and up and up, but it's gonna take a lot of effort and it's not very forgiving, unfortunately. No way to improve that movement time. On the flip side, as a sub, they can be potentially usable because they have 5 turns of damage reduction on a 5-turn cooldown and a 7x6 board for 1 turn. This is kind of similar to Christmas Celica, but different colors and different offensive awakenings. So if you are fortunate enough to acquire them, they can be a viable damage reduction solution for light and possibly dark based teams. For their weapon assist, 2 skill boosts. Again, like, I feel like this is the year that 2 skill boost weapon assists are just coming out, like, left, right, and center. Like, but prior to this year, like, it's not even been that long, only like a month and a few days, so to speak. Not many things had 2 skill boosts. Now we're seeing 2 skill boosts on so many different weapon assists. It gives you 4 turns of delay, which could be cool potentially. Their other weapon assist gives you 2-7 combos, which is 4 times personal damage, super blind resist, and a skill boost, and that same looping style active shield. I think Chuan's a nice card, but I'm not, like, I don't feel like I'm super gung-ho on getting her. If I roll her, obviously great. Now we come to a farmable card, and this is a card I do encourage you to actually acquire. Yes, we do have many other system-based teams such as like Shiva Dragon, but Shiva Dragon is red, and certain dungeons don't like red-based teams, whereas Nordis is wood and light, so that gives you some potential flexibility when you're entering dungeons for swiping purposes. So Nordis has double brick, they have rose, they have the combo orb, their active skill becomes a 3-turn cooldown that gives you a 2 top rows of wood and 2 bottom rows of light orbs, and that will ensure you have all this activation consistency. Their main and sub attribute will definitely double damage cap with no problem whatsoever. If you acquire multiple Nordis dragons, you are able to have a wonderful system. You can swipe your way through lots of stuff. It will take some effort to farm, but it can be worthwhile. Again, farmable stuff that have value, such as swiping, is something that's worth going out of your way to actually pursue and make. Because in all honesty, a large part of pad is actually swiping or pressing buttons to kill floors, because we had to play the same dungeon over and over again. I entered the dungeon kind of blindly with like a Shiva Dragon team with Cami as my leader and Jonathan as a friend, and it seemed to work reasonably well. Probably could optimize it better, but it's definitely a card you want to pick up, and ideally 3 copies of him. Weapon assist is a bunch of rows and auto healing, which is obviously good for themselves. Their active skill does give the penetration and the orb block removal, plus the 2 rows of wood and light. New Year's Reach has a new evolution with levitation and 3 5 attributes, and the potential to gain another 5 attributes, so the potential for immense personal damage in rainbow-based teams. Their active skill gives you, on a 20-turn cooldown initially, damage and attribute absorption cancellation, and then it becomes a little bit more awkward, unfortunately. It's not a reach-style active skill. It just gives you an attack buff, board becomes 7x6, all orbs enhanced, which means it's not something that's going to solve my problems, and because of that, I'm much less inclined to want to use them. One thing that I find interesting is that rainbow-based teams tend to not have problems with 5x4 boards, because if you're using something like the REM Draw Trio or LJ Kitty or whatever rainbow board maker you make, even if it only makes 5 colors, no hearts, such as LJ Kitty, you still make 15 orbs. And 5x4 boards have 20 orb space, so you're always guaranteed to have activation. So rainbow-based teams don't need the 7x6 board by comparison to like monocolored teams that hinge a bit more on certain aspects. So makes me less inclined to make that form. And now Kamisubi is one of the cards you should be trading for, like 100%. If you're going to trade and acquire one card in this event, Kamisubi is the card to get, because I assume you have Shiva Dragon, and if you don't, you should get Shiva Dragon times 3. And Kami, it's not this form that I'm particularly interested in, so I'm just going to kind of go to this form. This is the form that you want to make. And they have been improved to, I believe, have more enhanced Heart Orb Awakening, so you can heal a bit more. Does have double brick, does have rose. Active skill is a 5-turn cooldown cleric that also removes orb lock, which can obviously save your Shiva Dragons because they don't remove orb locks. And then you are able to keep swiping your way to victory. Those extra heart orbs can make it so you can heal to full health. It is a cleric, which we need. Leader skill was improved to do, I don't know. I'm gonna assume it just added more in the attack multiplier. It's unfortunate. I just assume it is. Everything else looks similar. Super Awakenings wise, she gained an extra 7 combo, which may not be necessary to be honest, but hey, it's options. What I've oftentimes done is put combo Orb Awakening on her, and then I would inherit the damage absorption latent, so then I'm able to ignore damage absorption completely. The only way to do it is make sure you have a combo orb somewhere on her, either through Weapon Assist or through Super Awakening. Weapon Assist has double team HP, some orb enhances, bind immunity, and a combo orb. It's nice, but you want that base form for that Shiva Dragon swiping. New Year's Yamato, I've never really liked them as a card. I've always found them kind of underwhelming. Their active skill is a 3-turn cooldown, which does give a damage cap increase. And then, amusingly enough, their weapon assist is a damage cap increase as well. So it's on a 3-turn cooldown. I think it's one of the first weapon assists we have received personally that increases damage cap. So I guess that's something kind of cool. New Year's Horus is unfortunately quite a forgettable card. They do have some haste. They have an attack buff. They have an RCV buff. They have Orb Enhance. Nothing we necessarily need in this current day and age. It doesn't really matter. Pixel form, same awkward problem. Not solving the types of mechanics we need to actually solve. Weapon assist wise, some OEs, a bunch of movement time, 3 seconds of movement time, personal damage for the owning card, and skill boost. Active skill is that same attack plus RCV buffer. New Year's Bale, I found them being... They have an interesting kit because they're a 2-turn cooldown that fully clears Awoken Skill Binds, and then it locks all orbs, so you don't clear Unmatchable. Maybe if you have TPA on your team somewhere that works, maybe, but he's got a weird mismatch of Awakenings. VDP, 5 attribute, 10 combos. It's a little confusing, to be honest. And they have many different Super Awakenings, and it's just like awkward. But I like their weapon assist. Their weapon assist is triple team HP and a 5 attribute awakening. Rainbow-based teams would rejoice because that is an immense amount of personal damage and a huge amount of bulk and a tiny bit of resists. And then it's this potentially dangerous cooldown of only 2 turns, but if you inherit it on someone who is your system-based card, it won't overcharge and you don't have to worry about it. I have seen this utilized like in the past on like very low base cooldown cards to make them into clerics, something that I've seen. I'm not sure if it's going to quite work at this point in time. New Year's Priscilla, I believe, gained more skill boost or another 10 combo. Not quite sure. Her Super Awakenings can get 5-10 combos, so she's just a card that gives you a Cleric active on a 4-turn cooldown while giving yourself Self Clouds. I think she was cooler before, not as cool now. Weapon Assist is enhanced fire and light combos times 2, and Super Blind Resist, so it's okay, but no bulk. We are starting to see Super Blind Resist with Team HP through Weapon Assist, so it's not as exciting as it used to be. New Year's Ltina, I believe, gained 2 crosses to her kit. Her active skill, I think, now gives 2 times RCV, and it now gives Attribute Absorption cancellation, and then if it's the first 6 turns, Damage Absorption. It's kind of awkward because you probably need the Damage Absorption later on, so I find it hard to justify bringing her as a sub. Thankfully, her Weapon Assists are quite spicy. Skill boost, 2 team HP, 7 combo OE, never a bad set of awakenings. Active skill does give a 4-turn delay along with damage absorption or attribute absorption, damage penetration for 2 turns. So not a bad type of active skill, but the other weapon assist might be even more exciting. 3 team HPs, beautiful amount, and 6 OEs, large amounts of damage passively added, and the active skill has that same aspect of RCV, no Skyfalls, attribute absorption, and then damage absorption cancellation if it's the first 6 turns. As an inherit, you definitely could utilize this in some way, shape, or form because it can be utilized for those first 6 floors, and it's quite a powerful impact active skill on a relatively low cooldown with nice awakenings. Her other form is a great TPA-based cleric because their active skill is a 3-turn cooldown that gives you full bind, awoken bind clear. She has 6 TPAs. I don't know if she gets any more through Super Awakenings, but that should be more than enough for clearing Unmatchable with the Unmatchable latent. So New Year's Ltina can be a strong cleric that has offensive might and capabilities. Their leader skill wants to match light and dark combos, but we need to have someone that makes light and dark orbs to make that really work. I feel like it's more of a sub because of that wonderful clericing option. Weapon assist wise for the other form, not as exciting, no team HPs, double TPA, full bind immunity, OEs, which are nice, and that's extremely low cooldown for a cleric active skill. New Year's Feral has been buffed to have nicer awakenings. She has 410 combos prior to Super Awakenings and Super Blind Resist, and her leader skill has been improved to give more bulk. And bulk is a big deal. Like before, her effective health was far too low. Now it's starting to catch up to more desirable options. She can have the 10 combo awakening, and with this sun, moon, or whatever the yin yang awakening, if it's the right dungeon, it would be nice. But otherwise, 10 combo is possibly the way to go, or the VDP if you don't bring a damage penetration card. One issue I find with New Year's Feral is, yes, 410 combos is spectacular, but the issue is that VDP does not work as a leader because her leader skill wants to match groups of 6 linked water or light orbs. And without damage penetration on essentially it's basically a 3-turn cooldown because it's a 6-turn cooldown that gives 2 turns of orbs. You get the orbs that are made upon using the active skill, and then the no Skyfall clause that only lets light, water, and hard orbs fall down kind of makes it so it's 2 turns of value. So 3 New Year's Feral create a system, but the problem is in that team you've already used half of your active skills to actually fulfill your leader skill requirements. And that means you still need to find damage absorption, attribute absorption, you need to find a cleric, you need to find damage penetration, and you need to find damage reduction through a looping shield. That's 4 types of active skills with 3 cards left. That is the biggest problem with New Year's Feral at this point in time, is that she can't necessarily squeeze in all the truly needed mechanics for most things. Of course, with that being said, if you don't need a looping shield, then it's going to be fine, but many stuff will require you to have a looping shield. So she is still strong, but I feel like now, because everything has so much more health, it's not as magical. Weapon Assist is fantastic. 2 skill boosts, 2 team HPs, TPA, 4 OEs, gives you damage penetration for 2 turns, strong Weapon Assist. Other Weapon Assist is probably amazing for herself if you, for some reason, weren't dealing enough damage. But think of it this way, 2 team HPs, 2 7 combos is 4 times personal damage for the owning card. So it's immensely strong in terms of layering in bulk and personal damage. Regular Reach received a buff to have levitation, which is kind of interesting. Not quite sure why, but we got it now. And their other form, again, has levitation, double 5 attribute. Their active skill has not been changed. Their stats and their leader skill have been improved a little bit. They do give movement time bonus, which I guess is kind of cool. Their Weapon Assist has double skill bind resist. Has 2 skill boosts now, which I don't think it had prior, so that's definitely something different. Her red-based form has better stats. Don't know how much better, but better nevertheless, and a better leader skill, but I don't think their leader skill is particularly that great because you're restricted to devil-type teams. Active skill gives you 2 turns of damage, attribute absorption cancellation, and then 4 times personal damage, and all orbs enhanced. It's an 18-turn cooldown, but it's really 6 turns because 18 divided by 3 because of the skill charge plus makes it so that it only takes 6 turns to really charge up, so it's definitely viable. Levitation means it does deal damage. Weapon Assist has received a significant buff. 2 team HPs, because I think it had 1 before. It still has the 4 attribute, but now it has a TPA. So that owning card will deal significantly more damage. The active skill is still 2 turns of damage and attribute absorption cancellation, so it's never bad if it overcharges, so to speak. Regular Lutina was buffed. Not particularly excited for her, unfortunately. Like, 410 combos is nothing great at this point in time. I know it sounds ridiculous, but 410 combos is not that spectacular. 210s. Yeah, like, I guess you could be an L solution. You have a 1-turn cooldown. Maybe you inherit something on top of it, but not as particularly excited. Harp has full poison, double heart enhance orb, L. Double team HP is nice, skill boost, 2 enhanced water combos. That is still a respectively useful weapon assist with a 3-turn delay. New Year's Skald has, I don't even know what changed for her awakenings. Maybe it's 2 VDPs now instead. Active skill, I believe, was reduced from a 3 to a 2-turn cooldown. It gives her 4 billion damage cap and then creates 6 water and light orbs from non-hearts. So if you don't have enough New Year's Feral, this is a way to usually plug it in. So that does give her aspects there. She has a 3rd attribute, so it might deal respectable damage maybe. But 410 combos is kind of on the low end still. Weapon Assist is just a bunch of rows for New Year's Feral. Not as excited there. New Year's Artemis has a myriad of different awakenings, so it's kind of confusing, but it's her active skill that packs in a large amount of different value. In this form, it gives you damage absorption, damage penetration, changing red to wood, fire to wood, and then fully recover unmatchable. So it's doing quite a few different things at the same time, which is obviously nice, but then on the flip side, her other form is slightly different. It gives you attribute absorption, damage penetration, fire to wood, and then fully recover awoken skill bind. So it does a bit of different stuff. They can have potentially strong personal damage, especially when their attack stat is actually quite high. So either form of New Year's Artemis could have potentially damage. Well, not this form. Her evolved form has potential for respectively large amounts of damage output. And in theory, with 4 TPA awakenings, you could make her a full cleric with the unmatchable latent, because you match a TPA, she clears 4 turns of unmatchable. Her active skill does awoken skill bind while also piercing and absorption and orb generation. Does a bunch of different cool stuff, I feel. Weapon assist is all about RCV. It's not HP, so it's usually not as exciting. New Year's Enola is a potential looping shield solution for your New Year's Nordis teams, let's say, because it's 40% health healed for 12 turns on an 11 turn cooldown, so it's always going to actually keep you alive, assuming your buffs are not dispelled. Can be a looping shield option potentially. New Year's Reach, in their original form, they have gained significant damage output because they have 4 attributes, 7 combos, can gain a 5th 4 attribute if they wanted, or 2 Ls, or Killers of Devil or Machine. Potential damage is still there. Active skill is still that nice 7 turns of attribute and damage absorption cancellation. It's 30 divided by 3, which is 9 rounded up. So it's 10 turn cooldown essentially, I think. Math is hard. It's almost 100% uptime on their active skills. So just wait, that's 4 skill charges. What the fish? It's 100% uptime. So if New Year's Reach, you have 100% uptime on your damage and attribute absorption. You never, ever, ever have to worry about it again, which is pretty cool when you think about it. Weapon Assist has double team HP, has a cloud resist, but it has that same immensely powerful 7 turns of attribute and damage absorption cancellation. Pretty spicy. Other Weapon Assist is double team HP, 4 light orb enhances, skill boost, and 3 attribute awakening, along with 3 turns of huge shield and 3 turns of damage and attribute absorption cancellation. They are a great solution if you hate absorptions, which is probably everyone out there. New Year's Ladua has potentially 410 combos with another 2 Ls if they really want it. Active skills on a 2-turn cooldown, so easier to system because you create jammers and poison more likely to fall down, so then their actual orb generation is more powerful in making light and dark orbs. And in theory, you are able to create a system with just 2 cards, so it might be something potentially fun to play with. But then their weapon assist might be kind of calling you more because it's 2 team HPs, RCV, skill boost, tape resist, 1 second of orb movement time. Active skill does give a huge amount of shield for 3 turns, so you can make some arguments it's kind of like effective skill boost, assuming that 75% damage reduction is enough to keep you alive. Could be a solution, but again, nice awakenings when it comes to bulk and even more RCV. I like seeing RCV when it comes in with team HP awakenings. Other weapon assist is a god killer with 2 Ls, so any L-based team that needs to fight gods will rejoice with a team HP. Low base cooldown, which might be a little dangerous. At least the other cooldown is a little higher on the other active skill. His dark form has got many regular VDPs, but not super VDPs, so it feels a little wasteful. Active skill is a 2-turn cooldown that only makes a roulette with no movement time and 6 dark orbs at random. Not quite as excited for them personally. Their other weapon assist is Dark Sub-Attribute, 6 seconds of movement time, which can help, or 3 seconds of orb movement time, which could help with manipulating spinners if you really cared about it. Maybe. Team HP, alrighty. Amaterasu just has resists, nothing beyond resist to be honest. Just resists, she just resists things, movement time, nothing special. New Year's Canna has got 6 TPA, so it could be an unmatchable option. Does give you movement time buff, an attack buff, and haste on a 7-turn cooldown, but it's 7 turns of movement time and attack buffing. Luxury active skill doesn't solve mechanics difficult to squeeze in on a given team. Weapon assist is bind immune, full double TPA, super jammer. Nothing particularly special in all honesty. New Year's Yomi. I used to use this card quite a bit. It's now only a 6-turn cooldown for their full cleric active skill and 8 turns of plus 5 seconds movement time, which is pretty cool. It has 2 Ls, it's got 310 combos, so with the 2 Ls, they could become 4 Ls, so they can be a solution for putting back your assists, and they have a respectively large amount of health. Their other form has that same nice active skill on a 6-turn cooldown. Drawback is they're kind of all over the place for awakenings. They have levitation, but only 2 7s and 2 Ls. Maybe you get to 4-7 combos with levitation and the L. Maybe you start putting out some damage. It's kind of like you're not bringing enough damage output for that levitation, I feel. Like, super gravity dungeons may still make it hard for you to actually hit meaningful amounts of damage, so it's a little awkward. Unless you're matching lots of Ls, then maybe you'll be okay. They do have a large health stat, so maybe if you need a cleric with a big health stick, maybe. Weapon assist is focusing on 2 Ls, 2 team RCVs, tape, second of movement time, and enhanced heart orb. It's kind of nice. Kepi, 4 skill boost, 4 attribute awakenings. Active skill gives you damage and attribute absorption cancellation on a 2-turn cooldown with bonus combos with an attack and orb movement time buff. So that is an active skill that is useful. Super awakenings can give them potentially a little bit more damage. I'm not sure their damage is going to be high enough in super gravity based content, but at least as an active skill that is not bad, so you could justify bringing them in. Weapon assist has team HP, team RCV, guard break, which can be great for rainbow teams if the particular card does damage but doesn't have guard break awakening. New Year's Ganesha has 4 times coins when you enter the dungeon. Obviously, that's pretty spectacular. You also gain attack multiplier with only 5 combos. So I've seen people utilize Henry from My Spy Family and just swipe their way through because New Year's Ganesha will eventually hit those 5 combos. So you could do that if you need money to get through certain content. Possible an option, but it's still 4 times money, which money's kind of overly saturated, but it's still the best at what it does. Weapon assist has a T, not using it too often. New Year's Keji, it's a 3-turn cooldown for 2 turns of damage reduction, so almost a looping shield, but not quite. Awakenings have guard break, L, double VDP. It's a confusing mismatch in my opinion. Please pick what you want to do well. On the flip side, weapon assist, if you don't let it overcharge accidentally, has double team HP, 4 OEs across, and a T awakening. So a pretty nice set of awakenings, assuming it doesn't overcharge. New Year's A10 will be great in the sun-based dungeons. They have 10 combo, they have 4 different killers, they have 4 attributes. They will deal immense amount of personal damage. Active skill increases their damage cap for their 3 different attributes. They have an attack buff for gods, no skyfalls, and creates a board. So 3 A10s create a system where one of the A10s is dealing out immense damage every single turn. So if you have enough A10s, maybe. But maybe their weapon assist is more appealing. It's double team HP, double team RCV, an L, and a 3 attribute. Assuming you don't have it overcharged by accident, this is a great weapon assist for adding bulk and healing across virtually any given team, and obviously better if you're rainbow oriented. Other weapon assist, I am not quite as excited for. It's just 6 light orb enhances, team RCV, combo orb. Active skill doesn't help you get going. Regular Ladua has now an 8-turn cooldown as opposed to whatever it was beforehand. Does 50 times damage with a full board of dark. Alright, cool. Maybe my Zetons might use him as a leader. Maybe. Other form gained lots of VDP damage. Cleric active on an 8-turn cooldown. Definitely an improvement. Weapon assist has 3 team HPs and combo orb and a skill boost. So if you're playing blob-based teams, this might be one of the better weapon assists because you want the HP and you want the combo orb most likely. Could be a great solution there. Alatu for New Year's Alatu has double 10, double VDP, double L, and can gain one more 10 combo with the fish. Whatever. Has a high attack stat. Active skill is now only a 3-turn cooldown, but it's those luxury things. Only solves movement time issues and replaces the board. Nothing special. Other weapon assist is double OEs, VDP, bind immunity. Nothing particularly great in my opinion overall. Nothing that special. Other weapon assist is tape, cross, healer killer, 2 seconds of movement time. I think the cross plus tape resist is kind of an interesting combination. I don't think too many things have that, but not that I have New Year's Alatus, and I don't find myself really inclined to use them in all honesty. So those are all the new buffs and changes, but I just want to stress again what you should be in monster exchanging for. So get yourself New Year's Cami, because she is going to be the greatest solution for your Shiva dragons, because her with Jonathan creates an outstanding swiping team. So get yourself New Year's Cami, and then also get yourself Watasumi. If you have Karen Dragons, it technically works, but if you are going to roll in Demon Slayer, it's a good time to do it. And it does cost 15 New Year's cards, so I don't have enough. So because of that, I would actually do some rolling in the hopes of getting higher rarity cards, which I actually would enjoy to actually utilize, but also just trade fodder for this particular card, and then start farming yourself up to get 3 of these New Year's Nordises in order to have other options for swiping. Now, that being said, let me know what you lovely ladies and gentlemen think about the New Year's event in the comment section down below. Do you think this kind of format of reviewing, of just looking at their website and changes, is a good strategy, and using the in-games function to give you advice on what to trade for? But regardless of all that, hopefully all you lovely ladies and gentlemen have a truly fantastic day. I wish you the best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.